Our guest today on this special edition of Dairy Business Update is a well-known leader in the industry. Dave Thorbahn is president and CEO at Select Sires Inc., headquartered in Plain City, Ohio. Yesterday, Select issued an announcement that 5 of its 6 member cooperatives would be merging with Select, which itself would become a cooperative entity. Dave, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Joel, for inviting me, and just happy to be with you and your listeners here today.
Let's start kind of with the big picture. How do you see this impacting the viability and long-term opportunities for your member owners?
Well, the real focus of the process that we've gone through is there's major change happening in the industry and major stress being put on our producers. And our board has looked at this over a period of the last 6 years and identified that research and technology and data are a critical piece to making us a leader for the long term in this industry. And the board has challenged us and asked us to focus on developing solutions that are going to make our farmers more profitable and make them better able to compete in this global dairy and beef environment. And so from this, they have asked us to look at our operations. We brought in independent experts and worked with the board to look at how can we invest in this technology without passing that expense on to our dairy and our beef producers.
Well, when you think about the changes that you're making, you've alluded in your release to the administrative and overhead savings that might accrue. Can you give us any idea of what sort of proportion or what that really means?
Well, I'd first answer that in 3 ways. As we started looking at this, the board required 3 things, and of themselves and of us as management. And so, first was the governance piece had to continue to be grassroots, which I think we'll get an opportunity to talk about. The second part was that the sales and service piece, that the same great service that they've been achieving, that we would continue to do that. And so your question is how, at what are we looking at in terms of savings on the back office efforts? And really it comes down to, we expect to get a 4 to 5% savings on our general administrative and support of those field people, because they are the critical piece that has driven us to become the leader here in the United States in the bovine breeding business.
As you make this transition, what about the producer patronage that is such an important part of what your member owners enjoy working with Select Sires?
One of the things that I've continuously heard over my 21 years at Select has been the fact that we operate as a real co-op and that our members continue to pay patronage back. And that's not going to change as we go into the future. All the patronage that is accumulated at the members will be rolled into the new organization. The board is committed for us to continue to pay that patronage back and generate more patronage. And as we roll forward and as we refine our operations, we should continue to generate good patronage for our patrons. And it is the board's expectation to continue to roll that back to our producers in the form of dividend.
You mentioned that the grassroots control, if you will, that your regional structure currently allows. And each co-op has its own board of directors in their respective regions. Your new national co-op will have what your website calls a representative assembly. And then, of course, there will be a national board. Tell us a little bit more about that and how you see that transition happening.
Our board spent the better part of 4 months working with Dr. Michael Boland, who is a cooperative specialist out of the University of Minnesota, and also David Swanson, who is a cooperative attorney out of Minnesota that works for Dorsey and Whitney. And together with our board, they wanted to take the best of what Select Sires had and the good practices that we had, and then bring that together in this new process. And so we're going to operate the member co-ops in each of their divisions, and the member boards of each of the 5 members that are joining will move on to what is called the representative assembly. They'll be elected out of each district from the current districts of the Select Sires member organizations, and together they'll form the representative assembly. In addition to them overseeing the organization and being the oversight body, they will elect an executive board, which would be the Select Sires board, to oversee the operations of the organization. But additionally, each one of those representative assembly board members would be part of the committee for their member area to oversee the services from within their area and work with the manager that is currently there to make sure that we're optimizing our service back to our producers. And so we get the best of both worlds, because one, it will improve the communication for those board members, as they'll meet 4 times a year and get updates on the whole federation, as well as their own individual member division, in addition to the executive board then managing, overseeing myself and our staff in terms of executing the direction that the representative assembly and the board has established for us.
Sure. Each regional organization today has its own employees, management, field staff, administration. What does this mean for those folks?
Well, initially, we're going to continue to operate as we are, and then as we move along, we're going to continue to refine our operations to find how we can work more closely together, how we can operate more efficiently. And I think the other part is the board's continued encouragement and expectation for us to grow. So in some ways, we'll optimize those and refine the back office administration, but as we grow, there will be other opportunities both in science and research, as well as support of our member owners, to continue to grow our organization while becoming more efficient in the process.
So in the long term, your employees would have the benefit of being involved with a larger organization, a more hopefully financially sound organization, and have more opportunities to expand their careers. Is that what you're telling us?
I think what you just said is exactly right. And I think it's twofold. One, they have a chance to be upwardly mobile. The other part is they can be more US mobile or more globally mobile. When I graduated from college, you went to a part of the country and you were expected to stay within that region. Now that we become a national organization like we are, a person could start in one location, move to another, and then as his career changes, if he wanted to move to international or he wanted to move to a different segment, all of those are opportunities in addition to having a more upwardly mobile opportunity. And the other thing it will allow us to do is to optimize our training for these people so that we can continue to develop the younger talent within our organization as they generate opportunities for themselves.
Sure. Well, back east, one of your organizations, Premier Select Sires, has announced that it does not wish to join this new effort. What does that mean for their farmer members? And will they still have access to Select Sires genetics in the same way they do today?
We did, in this process, all 6 organizations were involved in developing the concept, and they've chosen not to join. But they will stay on as a cooperative member, which means they'll act much like they have been, for the last many years. They'll continue to supply the same products and services that they're currently providing. We'll continue to help them with that, and they'll continue to be a cooperative member, alongside the Select Sires Cooperative as we go forward. So for those members, they'll continue to get Select Sires product and be serviced from the Premier Cooperative.
As we wind up this conversation, Dave, with time being a factor, do you have any other thoughts, maybe topics that we haven't touched on?
Well, I'm just really excited first about the board's focus on making Select Sires continue to be one of the global leaders in dairy breeding. I'm very excited about the opportunity that this creates for our employees to do a better job of serving their customers. And I'm also very excited about the opportunities that it presents for us to grow and continue to serve our producers in even a larger and better way as years roll out, and some of the results of some of the investments that we'll make, we turn around and return those back to the farmers. So it's just a very exciting time at Select Sires. It is just another example of the long-held cooperation between all of the former members, and every year we find new and better ways to work together. And I think this is just another example, and just very honored to be with Select Sires at this time of commitment from the board.
Well, Dave, thanks very much for speaking with us. We'll certainly watch with interest how this transition proceeds. I know that you have the attention of the industry for sure. Today, we've been talking with Dave Thorbahn, President and CEO of Select Sires. I'm your host, Joel Hastings, for Dairy Business Update at dairybusiness.com.